videotape. Okay,
Is that okay?
So I need to be handsome?
Yes.
Great suit.
I can never pull that off. Thanks.
Works well. So I'm just curious. So do I look familiar? Who has seen me in the past on TV?
Just a little.
Just a little. Just so I
No, we
who
know.
hasn't.
No, we know.
So, okay. So 1, 2, 3 have not. Okay. Okay. Great. All right. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am a Queens girl. So I went to public schools in Queens. I even started out in college at Queens College. I'm a former teacher, 2nd grade. I have a master's in social work. I did a lot of work with families. Some doctoral credits in special ed. Worked as a TV producer, worked at 60 Minutes. Was on New York 1 for close to 25 years.
That's what it
Oh my God!
Oh my gosh. Of course.
Oh my God!
That's what everyone knows you from.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm a little bit slow.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting, I usually don't talk about this, but when I came to New York 1 and I told them I had this great idea, it was really important that as a parent myself with 2 sons and as a single mom, I knew that this was, we need to have a segment that would help parents. They thought I was crazy at first. They said, what is she talking about? And I kept pushing and pushing, and they said, okay. And after the first week, the response was so enormous from parents. They said, she's right. Like, parents are looking for help. But at first, they did not see how this was going to work. It turned out to be one of the most popular segments on New York 1.
Yeah.
So what did we do? On New York 1, my tips were about reading, preparing for the parent-teacher conference, nutrition, getting ready for college, career readiness. We did everything and anything a parent might be thinking about or worried about or concerned about. And I don't know if you remember, I used to bring kids with me.
Yeah.
And they would come into the studio and read and share their favorite picture book. So I would involve kids and I would have the teacher pick out the child who was the most improved or who tried the hardest that year in school, and that was the child that I would have on TV with me. But then I realized, wait a minute, we're hitting all these areas that are important to moms and dads, but we're missing something. And the area was the one that was giving me a lot of stress too, which was, what the heck do I do on the weekends?
Yeah.
Where do I go? I don't have money to spend. I don't even know where to go. And why the heck am I even going there? Why am I going there? How is this going to be good for my kid, for me? Why am I even getting on a bus or a train? Why are we doing this? And I thought, I'm stressed out. It's the local park or a movie theater. I need help with this. That means everybody else probably does too. And so the Where to Go segment was born, and it turned out to be our most popular segment. Parents were writing in left and right, oh my gosh, why don't you go here? This is great, this changed my child's life, and it became literally a guide for us. I then met up with the Sussmans and Cheryl Wills, the anchor on New York 1.
Mm-hmm.
She had a book party and we were all there, and the Sussmans came to me and said, we love what you do on New York 1. We love your brand, we love what you do for parents. Can you do this in a book form? And I realized we could, and an idea was born, and that was, and we can change the slide, thank you, Vianney, Learning Adventures in NYC, Shelley's Learning Adventures in NYC. 75 amazing destinations to explore. And what they are at its core, it's really saying to parents, you don't have to wait for the class trip. You don't have to wait for the field trip, you can do it yourself. And I'm going to show you how to do it. And these are places that can change your child's life in the most amazing ways and get them to think about a career, a passion, a hobby, who they are, what they want to do with their lives. I want to share 2 quick stories with you. I interviewed a lot of celebrities, a lot of famous people, and it was amazing how many people would tell me that going to one place, visiting one place, changed their thinking and changed the way they thought about what they wanted to do with their lives. Here are 2. Neil Degrasse is the head of the planetarium at the Museum of Natural History. He talks about how his parents took him to the planetarium when he was about 8, 9, he said he walked out of there and he said, I want to do that. There's something there, I want to do that. And he became an astrophysicist. I don't even understand what he talks about, but, and he's running the whole thing at the museum. Robert Battle was a young man who had braces on his legs. They were very bowed. And he went to see Alvin Ailey, Revelations, which I love. And he came out and he said, I want to be a dancer. And his parents said, but you have braces on your legs. He said, I want to be a dancer. He became a dancer, and he became the artistic director of Alvin Ailey. And that was when he was about 9 or 10. So sometimes one place can totally transform your child's life. And that's where I'm going with this, right? Vianney, thank you. Okay, so the benefits for students, there's no question that it gets kids thinking, maybe I want to do this. This would be great for me. This speaks to me. In the book itself, there are a lot of critical thinking questions. There's vocabulary. There's amazing did you know facts for every single one of the destinations. And we're getting kids and families into new neighborhoods, new places, where they're meeting new people. I'm going to give you 2 of the did you know facts that are in the book. Let's see. Nobody look, please. No cheating. Right? Let's see if you know. You want to get kids to take care of their heart and their health? Please raise your hands. How many times do you think your heart beats a day? Just take a guess. Nancy, come on. No, wait, Nancy, you were there. You were hurt last time. You can't wait.
It's like 60 minutes.
60. So how many times a day? 60 times? 60. Okay. Great. Stay with that. Great. Okay. Another, please, somebody else. How many times a day does your heart ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom? How many times is it beating a day? Oh, I think it helps it.
I'm thinking like 300. Like
300. Okay. You ready?
I'm thinking in the million.
yeah, I'm thinking a lot more.
100,000 times a day. 100,000 times a day, your heart's going ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. And, you know, you say that to a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 15-year-old, they start thinking, man, maybe I better take a little more, a second look about what I'm eating and what I'm doing, because this is the engine, this is responsible for the whole deal, you know? All right, here's another one, last one. We live on planet Earth. The sun is up there, right? If you took the planet Earth, which is shaped like a ball, and put it inside the sun, how many planet Earths, how many of these balls, planet Earths, do you need to fill up the sun?
Oh,
Take a guess. People have said things like 20.
No, it's a lot.
Take a guess.
We can't answer. We reckon.
Right, okay. Throw out a number.
1,000.
1,000. Give me one more.
I said 2,000.
2,000. Okay, you ready? This is another thing. Here's a mom looking at this book, going over this, and both of them are like, what? Okay, and then you want to do more research, and then all of a sudden you're curious about more things in life. 1.5 million. 1.5 million Earths are needed to fit inside the sun. That means the sun is enormous. All right? And I had no idea. I thought maybe it was like 20, but it's way, way more. It's 1.5 million. Okay. So these are all the things that the book, and by the way, we covered every area in the book because everybody's interested in different stuff. There's art, there's music, it's inside, it's outside, it's climbing, it's watching, it's doing, it's touching. There's all different kinds of activities because everybody learns differently. Should we want us to wait for you?
No, you can start.
We can, I'll slow it down. All right. The book is, by the way, going to be available in Chinese and in Spanish, right? So what is the book doing for educators? The most important thing is as I was mentioning to Nancy, you know, as a social worker, I was always working with families and groups. I want to come up with phenomenal ways to get parents involved so they feel like they're co-educators, that they want to come to the school and partake in all these wonderful activities. I think when you do that, all the studies show kids are more motivated to learn. They do much better in school. Everybody's happier. It's a win-win. It's a win-win. So is a great way for educators, this is a great way to get the parents involved directly in their children's education, because they're going to these places together, and I would love to talk to the parents and show them how to do this and how this all works. Because once you get started, the book is just a starting point. Once you get started, at the very end of the book, just to give you an example, I know I'm going off point,
No, please.
but I insisted, and the Sussmans were great, they let me do it. I said, at the very end, page 154, I said, I want more websites. I want to give parents more, that they can go and research to give them another 100 more adventures, and we did. So once you go through these 75, there's a whole bunch more. There's places where your kids can learn how to build their own boat. Their own boat, right? Like Rock the Boat in the Bronx, right? And you can actually have your kids go on the weekends, and by the end of 5 months later, they're out there on a boat that they built.
Wow.
So there's all kinds of stuff here, and I want parents to get so excited that they're excited like teachers. And so that everybody's in the educational experience together. Because education is not something that ends at 3 o'clock. It's going on all the time. There's things that parents can do all the time. This is one of the very important things parents can do. And of course, this is a great resource for open house, for book clubs, for parent night. You can utilize the whole concept of a learning adventure for everything.
This is also a good resource. Again, it's Title I season, and that money is earmarked for parent engagement. There are things in here, I mean, that you can expose families to and earmark Title I money to do some parent outings by using that Title I parent engagement money.
I'll go. I'll take the parents. I will go on the trip. Which is something that I did.
Yeah, they drop their kids off in the morning, you have breakfast for them, and then by 10 o'clock you're on your way to wherever it is you booked a group visit.
And I'll go. I would love to if you'd like to.
And you can invite Shelley?
Invite me. I want to be there. So, all right, so how to use the book? Everybody has the email address. Okay. So there's all the general information, it's alphabetical, okay? So there's an emoji of me. I'm not smiling when I'm in a serious place. I am smiling when I am in a fun, upbeat place, right? How to get there, we've also included the ferry, because I love the NYC ferries now. Is everybody familiar with the NYC ferries? It's life-changing.
Yeah.
Life-changing, right? You get all over the place and have a blast and sit up top, and they have food, and it's clean, and it's great. Okay. So what I've done is, so there's a QR code, so you can quickly get to the website. This bubble over here is my way of very quickly giving you a summary of what it is you're going to see. Like, what's this place about? You want to know what this place is about in 3 sentences? You'll find it right at the top. Then what I did for parents is the following. I didn't want parents to be stressed out to walk into a new place they had never been to before and say, I don't know where to go. This place is like, I'm a little anxious, I'm a little intimidated. What am I supposed to look at? So I thought if that were me, I'd want somebody to say, go here, go here, go here, go here. And after that, explore on your own. So every single entry has bullet points to guide parents so they're not wandering around, not sure where to go. It's making it easy breezy for parents so they know this is where my child and myself can learn something, see something, be stimulated, be changed by something. So I give them the guides, all right? Somehow, each page has between 3 and 5 bullet points. At the bottom, this is the coolest thing. The bottom has a Shelley'sLearningAdventures.com website. Because what I wanted to make sure we had in this website, let's say the African Burial Ground is having a special workshop on November 26th. You wouldn't know about it in the book, but if you go to the website, it will list between 3 and 6, but I'm going to highlight every month special events that are going on in these 75 venues. For example, in the Intrepid Sea, Air, and Space, let's say you could have breakfast with an astronaut next weekend. Your child can meet an astronaut and ask real questions about space. You're not gonna see that in the book because it's November 26th, but you'll find it on the website, right? And the website will also list any major changes in any of the venues, if they move from one location to another. So that's there. Can I bother you? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Okay, so now this is the right-hand page. The right-hand page has a tab, let me start over there, and it tells you what borough you're in. Every borough has its own color scheme. So Manhattan is kind of like, it has a, what is it? It's like a beige color. I think that the Bronx is like a purple and a green, but every borough has its own color scheme, right? So you can easily flip through the book and know what's in what borough. Some things are free, some things are have a star. A star means pay what you want. You can pay 50 cents or $1. It's like pay whatever you want. $1 sign, I think the ticket is $15 or less, but there's every price point from free to special event, like if you want to go whale watching. Like let's say you want to go with your child and you want to go on a boat in the Far Rockaway, and you want to see if you can see whales jumping out of the water. So I've included even things that are a little expensive for special occasions. You got the whole range, and so you can just pick. You can just pick and see. All right, then we have, did you know that? You know, the one about how much is your heart beat, how fast. That you'll find on every page over there. Let's get started. We want the parents and the kids to really practice research skills and get comfortable with websites. Learning how to navigate websites, which is something we all can do here, but for a lot of parents, it's a little scary. So we want them to kind of get comfortable with that. There's vocabulary words. There's critical thinking questions on the way to talk to with your child. What would happen if? Why do you think? Compare and contrast. Would you do this or would you do that? But all those questions reporters use in the news business, the who, what, when, why, and how. You will find those on the way. Questions for parents to have with their children, because we're giving the parent the role of teacher. We're bringing them into the educational process. On the way, things to do when you're there, and on the way home. Then we get to the career flash. Who are some of the people that work at this venue? What do they do? What's the skills? What do they have to learn in college or in school? But we also put down different people who work at that venue. So that's the career part that kids can explore. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I forgot one more. At the very bottom. Let's say a parent is finished at the African burial ground and this was great, but I have another 4 hours. What do? Should we go get something to eat? We list 2 places that are in the book that are within 10 blocks. I think, is it within 10?
Yeah,
I think it's within 10 blocks. So you can keep going. You can literally, if you want to stay out all day, we're telling you exactly where you can go. That's also educational, a learning adventure within 10 blocks. Okay, so what this is all about, by the way, who knew that you could zip line in the Bronx over the Bronx River? You did it?
Yes.
Oh, wow, I'm impressed.
Yeah, my daughter and I.
Wow, there you go. Did you do it at night?
No, we didn't do it in the day.
Okay, but you did, you weren't watching, you actually did.
No, I did.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
And by the way, an interesting did you know fact, just so you know that this is educational, a did you know fact is that in Costa Rica, they use zip lines. They use zip lines because they don't want to disturb the animals in their habitat. So in order to learn about them, they use a zip line and they're looking over and photographing, but they don't want to like bother them. So zip lines have come in very, very handy in a lot of science fields. And so if your child likes zip lining, there are actually careers that you can have in zip lining. Yeah, especially in the sciences. All right, so what we've included, except for us, is that there are all different kinds of learning. So we have stuff, the physical learner. Physical learner would be like this gentleman zip lining, okay? And natural learners, so those are kids who want to be out in the park, they want to be doing things outside. For example, you go to Hudson River Park. As you're walking along Hudson River Park, and some of these things are free and some of them cost. Let's say you spent the day in Hudson River Park. There's kayaking for free in the summer, for free. There's trapeze. Gotta pay a little, but let's say someone's birthday. Hudson River Park has a trapeze school. Who knew? They also have free fishing. So one place, mini golf, right? There's a number of things to do, all within the same place for the child who wants to be outside. Can I bother you? Good, thank you. Okay. Musical learning, one of my favorites. Okay. Is anyone familiar with the jazz standard? Okay. So this club has an orchestra, a jazz orchestra that kids can go. You can go, moms, dads, go with their children on a Sunday, and for free, they'd like a donation. You can give them 50 cents. You can sit and watch young people in middle school. I think it's kind of middle grades. They are performing in a jazz orchestra and they're getting free instruction. But what's even better, because this might inspire your children to be a musician or to want that as a hobby or just something that they love to do in their free time, your child can actually audition between September and October to be in this jazz orchestra for free. And they will be getting instruction from people who are really well versed in jazz and in orchestration. So you can just go on a Sunday, take your kids and let's check this out. And all of a sudden you might find your child is interested in learning how to play an instrument, learning more. And they can partake in this for free. Can I bother you for the next one? Okay. Oh, that's an interesting fact, but it's already on the screen. I should stand like this. You know those fluffy clouds? Oh, like this so you don't see. You know those fluffy clouds you see in the sky, right? They look so soft, like a pillow, right? Please, somebody take a guess. How heavy do you think those clouds are? It's the weight of 100 elephants. 100 elephants. One sweet-looking cloud that looks like it's a pillow. So, for the hands-on learner, the New York Hall of Science is a perfect example. They have over 450. Think about it. Over 450.
With the Hall of Science, they actually change some of their exhibits at times. So there's always something new for them to do and learn.
Perfect. Okay, so you make a great point. Thank you. You make a great point, which is why we want the parents to get comfortable. It says, let's get started. First visit. By going to the website, what would pop up would be a new exhibit. It would just pop up. So we want to get parents comfortable with, check out the website before you go. Do it so after a while it becomes like second nature to you, because that's when you're going to see, oh, wait a minute, we were there a month ago, but now they have this new exhibit we didn't know about. They would also find a new exhibit probably by going to Shelley's Running Adventure, but I love that parents go right to the website. I think that's really cool. But that museum has so many hands-on exhibits. You just let your kids go, and they can touch everything, and they're all science exhibits. Thank you, Vianney. Okay, and at the end of the book, there are certain things that they repeat over and over again, like the holiday train show at the Botanical Garden every year. So to make it easy for parents, if they go to the calendar in the back, they can see the Butterfly Conservatory. Does anybody know what that is?
Yes.
Okay, at the Museum of Natural History, you see the butterflies just like flying around. But instead of parents trying to figure out on the website, when is this? What? Is it now? Is it November? It's held January. That makes it real easy. All right? Things that, and then we have that other page that I love. That's all the extra additional websites that parents can check out. And at the beginning of the book, there are certain times that some of these venues are open later or completely free, but the first couple of pages it tells you. So, did I miss anything?
No, that was it.
Okay. Any questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, sorry.
In your book, do they have anything on like photography or like coding and stuff? Because I know a lot of students here are interested in like photography and coding.
there's a museum of math, and the Museum of Math has all kinds of fascinating, it's on a daily basis, so the parents would know that by getting comfortable going to the website. So somebody who's interested in science and math, I would be working with the parents and showing them how to use the book, but I would be encouraging them, check out the Math Museum. It's also known as MoMath. Has anyone been there?
Yes.
MoMath? But if you go there, in fact, I think that I even saw a coding the other day. Also, some of the major institutions, some of the major museums also have speakers come in on coding. But that would, to find that, the parents have to be checking out the website.
On coding, just kind of outside the box, we as a company provide robotics and coding as well. So,
Yeah, that's very good, robotics, yeah.
Oh, but in terms of robotics, the New York Hall of Science, your science
Yeah.
museums, for sure, your science museums for sure. But how you would know that, you might find it on one of the bullet points of the page, but going on the website, because as this young woman said, the exhibits are always changing. So there might be, or if you go to the Shelley's learningadventures.com, the website in the book, that would let you know that there's going to be a photography or coding exhibit coming up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My daughter is now in 6th grade, but when she was starting school in preschool, they used to give something called the Cool Culture card. And with that, I actually went to a lot of these places.
Those are for the little ones.
Yeah, and unfortunately it's for the little ones, but it would be great to like maybe find some way to do it for some of the older kids, to get them re-interested in some of the things that they may have thought about in the past.
Wait. It's interesting that you said that, because cool culture is mentioned on page 10, with the X, page 10, but there's other programs, culture passes that are available for, I believe, older kids and families, are in the
for
book.
families, actually,
Yeah.
I know.
Has anybody ever been to the Sony Hall of Science on Midtown?
Yeah.
That's a fun place to take kids to, and it's free, and it's also a fun place to do a family trip too, because it's hands-on. Like to expose the family so that they can turnkey to their little ones.
Samsung has one in downtown Manhattan, which is totally free and it's amazing.
Yeah, I heard about that one too.
And by the way, it's interesting that because the goal, I would love to do parent workshops, talk about the book, but then basically move it into, in addition to talking about the book, meaning a learning adventure, not the selling of the book, but learning adventures. I would love parents to share with other parents their suggestions. The parents are in a room.
I have an idea.
Someone says, and Shelley's like leading the group here. Someone says, or I ask, where's a great place that you've been to with your child that you would recommend for other parents? And then one parent tells, and I'd like to put that on the website as well. But I think parents, when you get them in a room, in addition to learning about great 75 places to go, in addition to learning about all the wonderful things this will do for your child, why it's so important and will change your child's life, the third piece is to get parents to share the information they have with other parents. It's like sharing a recipe.
Yeah.
But it's like, what we went to? We went here to Sony, blah, blah. This was really cool. And another parent starts jotting it down. I didn't know about that. And then you have parents interested in who've engaged parents, who've engaged families, because they're taking away information that's really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Like Google, they have coding classes. Google office in Midtown, I think it might be 7th Avenue, and like 50-something Street, they
And
have
there are a
coding
lot of companies
classes.
that offer coding classes as a weekend thing or an after
The one
school
Midtown, like
thing for free.
50-something Street.
And like I tell the PCs, Google is a wonderful thing. You'll find anything on Google.
by the way, I just want to add, we talked about this today, and with Mr. Flores and my own children. My older son, he walked around Grand Central and he was so amazed
Yes,
by the
it's
architecture.
so beautiful.
I'm looking at trying to get a train ticket, and he's looking at, look at these steps, look at the ceiling, and now he's in real estate. My younger son, who was the critic, every time I took him everywhere, he'd be, here's how I can make this better. This is what they forgot. They should have had this. And he's an entrepreneur. I mean, that's how, but
Yeah.
everywhere he went, his mind was, you know, they think they need a food court over here. How come the ticket office should be over there? But he was always thinking how to make it better, which is a skill. That's what entrepreneurs do. So if your child is going to these places and thinking, you know, Mom, this is cool, and you know what they need to have? You know what they didn't have, they should have had over here? That's a great thing. That's an active mind that's creating. You want your child to be constantly creating and thinking and thinking and creating, and that's what these places do. Mr. Flores, are we allowed? Allowed, right? I asked the same thing, I told Mr. I went with Vianney to another school. Parent coordinators are sitting around. This man is looking at me like he wants to say something. Young man, very hip guy. He comes over to me and he says, listen, I don't have the need to say this in front of all the parent coordinators. I just want to say something to you personally. I said, okay. And he starts to I can see the tears, right? By the end, we were all crying.
Yep.
And he says, I'm watching you on TV. He says, I'm a rough guy. I'm a tough guy. He says, you know, my life, I was, you know, like I could have gone this way or that way. He said, I'm watching you on TV and I'm thinking, what the F is she talking about? She says, go here, go there. He said, then I see you again. He says, you got props and you're holding up things. He says, it looks like a puppet show and you're doing stuff. He said, by the third time I said to myself, said Mr. Flores, okay, lady, okay, I'll go. He said he went to the New York Historical Society. He says he walks in, he says he's like in a castle. He walks into this place. He said usually he would take his child to the playground across the street. That was it. He said local, everything local. He said he walks in and he said he's like in another world. And he said, he thought, oh my God. And his kid starts asking questions and he starts asking questions. Then he started doing everything I said every week. And he looks at me, puts his arm around me, and he said, my son is an anthropologist because of you. And we start to cry. And he said, I will do anything for you. He said, I will come. And he said, you have changed my life. And he said, you don't know how many people's lives you've changed because they're listening. And then they finally say, okay, I'll try it. And is this right?
Yeah.
We were all crying. And it was just so, that's how powerful it is to get parents involved. And say, come on, take a little adventure. Be a little, and also the parent becomes a role model. Because if the parent is taking a chance,
Yes.
your kids are gonna start taking a chance. They see that mom and dad is like, yeah, let's try it. It's a little different, take a ferry to get there. Yeah, let's do this. And all of a sudden you have a child that as they're getting older, they will explore and they won't be so frightened and so fearful and so stressed out about trying new things.
Yeah.
My son, he was diagnosed with pervasive developmental disorder, which is on the autistic spectrum. This was when he was 2, he is now 21. I took him one year when I had the cool culture for my daughter to the Transit Museum.
Oh, I love that.
And at 21 years old, he accessed her right here. He can tell you the make, the model number of any train, bus, just by looking at it. He can tell you when it was made, if it was ever discontinued, and they're just bringing it out for a holiday. He goes just about anywhere. He is now starting to explore Long Island, New Jersey. He's broadening where he goes to learn more because within the 5 boroughs, he's pretty much almost got everything to memory.
Autonomous, so he can go on his own. That's fabulous. That's fabulous. So one place spoke to him. It was magical to him. He said, I can connect to this. And it gave him a place of safety, a place of comfort.
And so even nowadays, if I have somewhere new that I don't know where I'm going, I'll either ask him how do I get there, or I'll tell him, do you have a chance to take me yourself? And he lights up.
Oh.
That's his niche.
Yes.
Just to add to that, this is big boy Will. He's the
Cheryl
brother.
Will's his brother.
He's autistic. And so they wrote
Drawing
this book.
speaks to him. Drawing speaks to this.
And so you think, how can I engage my child, and would you come and actually see like a presentation from Cheryl, and the three of them are together sometimes. Just listen to the mom speak about how she raised them to make sure that this kid had the opportunities to develop and to be kind of a, you know, someone that will do anything.
He's on the autistic spectrum, and drawing. Somebody must have introduced him to drawing.
So he's like
and it
the
spoke to
cartoons.
him. It connected, and he will meet you, hello, and he'll start drawing you. And he gets his life has enormous direction because he's always drawing portraits, and he meets people, and that's how he interacts with people. But that skill set of drawing spoke to him.
Funny story. We were at a conference, like 200 New York City teachers, and at lunchtime we had both of them speak, right, Cheryl and Big Boy. When he spoke, and she usually kind of guides him through the conversations and kind of to tell his story. At the end, we had to set up tables for the signage, right, to kind of get them autographed. Every one of those teachers was in line to get this guy's autograph. We thought that everyone would go here. No,
They went there.
2 hours
Wow.
online to get this guy. And he would just, as you mentioned, he would take the page and he will look at you and he will draw your face or whatever hair, and just pretty cool. And then he will sign it. Every book. So this is pretty touching stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
My niece is nonverbal, my niece, and she's on the spectrum. And my son had a birthday party, and my sister, she never wants to take her out because it's difficult, you know. And so I said, just bring her with me, I'll watch her, you know. So I took her to the Sky Zone, and she was very scared and timid. She started talking.
Oh my gosh.
That must have really.
So when she got there, she was, you know, I held her hand and I jumped on her because she was really scared. And she just like, in a wonderland, she just went like, you know? So we took her to like the phone area and everything. And once she started jumping, she started, and then all of a sudden she was like, oh, and I was like, you're jumping and jumping. She was like, jump! And I was like passed out. Like I was just like, and so my sister takes her every week, and she has about 12 words, but it's surrounded around that. And so every time I see her, I say, oh, you're going to Sky Zone? She's like, no! And she's 6 years old, and that's the first time that she spoke. So every time we get there, she's like a normal kid. Before she's very like, you know, shy, and you know. And again, I told her she's on the spectrum, so when she gets there, you can't even tell, because she just runs now. Before she was so timid, and that's like her place. And my next video.
She found something, and by the way, Sky Zone is in here. It's in the back, in the extra, you know, the extra listings. But she found something that spoke to her that was physical, that was a physical, she could, it could be rock, it could be climbing a wall, rock climbing, you know, the climbing wall that they have, which we have in the book under Long Island City. But that's an amazing story because it's, you really have to keep exploring to find a way in, to find.
Raising an autistic child is not easy.
My son's
Yeah, I, you know, my heart goes out to anyone who's raising a child that's on the spectrum because it is not easy.
So
You deal with a whole other menu of issues.
Where do you go with your son?
We go everywhere. We've been, my son stopped talking around like, close to it. So I thought everyone thinks they're gonna have like a child prodigy, and he knew a lot of words, and all of a sudden he stopped talking. He wasn't recognizing his name. It just happened, right? And then, so I decided that, I was like, oh, I'm a person, I'm thinking maybe he's changing one for the other, whatever, and he wasn't paying attention. Long story short, I left my career to have 40 hours of therapy, and I just focused on him. And my ABA therapist, which thank God for her, you know, he has meltdowns, and so it was very hard to travel with anxiety, you know. And so she would accompany me everywhere. And I would say, well, where do you go with me here? And they have these events. She said, we'll go to the library. We started out at the library. And I would say, he would not send story time. And she'd say, Mom, it's okay. She would go with me, and I would just get like all, crazy because I see him not sitting in story time. And she would redirect and she would calm me down. She would say, Mom. And so she taught me the skills, and he was like a screamer. He was one of those kids that did not talk, he would just go, like, he would just fall out, right? So I started continuing what she was doing, and now he's high functioning. A lot of times people are not aware, but it's because I put him in situations where he can thrive, and I make sure that I take care of his meltdown before it happens. So I'm really proud of where I've come, and that's why it's but most importantly, I think that there's a lot of things for the children, and so I do monthly events for parents, because our mental health, the way we can connect with our children, we have to be taken care of too. So although they have all these things for our children, parents, in order for us to go out and step out on that limb, we have to be able to. And so I'm fortunate to have someone that took care of me in that time to be able to experience. And we've been, Governor's Island, Wednesday, Ransom Island, we've been to every museum, we've been to everything you can think of. Like, I'm looking at this book and I'm like, oh my God, but it helped because that just gave him an outlet. And it took care of the anxiety for me. And he started doing things. So now maybe he doesn't send story time like he wants to. He wants to talk about it now. And he likes to interrupt a lot because, I know about the plan and but we come a long way. So hearing him interrupt is much better than not hearing him talk at all. Yeah. Seeing him sit down is much better than him not being able to sit down. Communicating his feelings, now he's an over talker and he tells me everything. That was a long process. So,
How old is he now?
He's 6. He's 6 now. And so this book is awesome because I'm giving back in the community. I do monthly events now, and I'm doing activism, looking for things in the area to raise awareness and help parents. So I'm really excited that you have this book. Like, I'm so excited.
Thank you.
And I think that everyone is not as fortunate to go out because we need people to help us. It's hard. It's hard getting the courage to be on that train. It's hard.
Oh my gosh, you say it so, it's true, it's hard. Taking a leap of faith, going someplace.
Because we're already torn down before we can leave the door. Like you have a meltdown and get dressed or whatever that is. And so getting out to that train, you're already thinking he's gonna fall, like I'm just over you have this moment. And just to work up that nerve to go 30 minutes out to 20 minutes is something that is very hard.
Yeah.
And so
See, for me, it wasn't the trains, because my son loved the trains, but having to do a daily errand with it would be, oh God, is he gonna have a meltdown?
And what that looks like. The thing is that it's not so much of the meltdown, it's the anxiety that comes with the judgment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you'll have people that are real quick, it's young people like you that don't know how to take care of their children and always like talking bad to you. And that's,
somebody, you were shaking your heads like you know what she's talking about.
It happens all the time.
don't understand why a certain thing is happening and what caused the situation. And for you to come down like that makes, well, especially having an autistic child, it makes you feel as a failure.
It's hard.
You express it so beautifully, both of you express it. I think when I listen to you, I'm thinking how valuable in whatever way you do it to have the support of other parents.
You just put a
Well,
light bulb.
I
You
know.
just put a light bulb in my
I
head.
have a weekly podcast where I talk about this. And the parents are coming out. I talk about it on my podcast. I'm actually going to listen to like here in this hall because I wish someone had said these things to me. I wish the thing is that we can talk about our kids and we can have these places for our children, but I need someone for me. So your judgment. I had to file an arrest on my neighbor because my child was screaming, and that's what he does, right? I went into deep depression. I gained over 50 pounds. I left my career as a fashion designer. I gave everything up for my kid, right? And so I'm down in my small apartment with my kid, and the room seemed tiny. sir, I can't, he's having these meltdowns. I could have killed myself. It was many times I went in the bathroom and just said like, okay, start over, right? She doesn't know what I was going through, so I just feel like, you know.
And instead of offering a hand, they just want.
Well, how are you offering it? Here's the thing, how do I help you understand what I'm going through, right?
Sometimes, thank God for me, my mother was an assistant teacher, so early on she helped me with my son. Unfortunately, she passed when my son was 7. I felt kind of alone since then, but my neighbors have been there, even if it was just, you know, do you need someone to talk to? Can we sit with you with your son for a few minutes? You know, I've had 2 neighbors that were willing to do that. If it wasn't for one of those neighbors, honestly speaking, I don't even know if I'd be sitting here today.
I think part of the mission is to help. The thing is, we can't judge each other. Part of the mission is to make sure that the people who have never experienced autism. I was thinking that prior to my son being diagnosed. And I think all we want to be harming people that are judging us is also our duty to and walking into our world, you know, because prior to this I would see a kid having a meltdown, I would think, oh Lord, you know. Now that I'm on the other end, I have a lot more compassion. So it's we can't always judge them. We also have to have compassion with them because they've never experienced it, you know. So I'm learning. That's why I do my weekly podcast, and I have people that said, I never thought about that. I said, you know, think about that woman getting on the public bus for her child with a wheelchair. And what she has to go through, she's in her phone, and you're saying she's not paying attention to her son's behavior. But the fact is, she knows you're looking at her. So that's why she's in her home, because she's trying to get through this again and again. So I think it's a bigger conversation.
Everyone in this room, your President's Council, or parent coordinators, or PTA, and as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking, again, how engaging the parents who are at home and they have children on the autism spectrum, English is a second language, they don't have a job, their guy just left them, but there's so many things that are impacting their ability to parent. And for parents to have time for themselves, as you so beautifully said, where they're getting the love, they're getting what they need in a group, where people are listening to them, sharing ideas, giving them suggestions. I think
This is the idea, the light bulb you just lit in my head. And we're gonna move forward with this because this is a conversation that, go get Alex. This is a conversation that, because one of the things that we do is we map out and we plan all of our parent PDs as well as our PCPDs for the whole year. But we always leave room on our calendar for every time a light bulb goes off in my head. You just lit one up. And the superintendent had already planted the seed in my mind earlier, before the school started. But I didn't move forward with it because I was waiting to see what direction I wanted to go in with this. And what she suggested was, like after our monthly parent PDs, like having like a little debrief with families just to like get feedback and, you know, see what's going on in everybody's head. But based upon this conversation here, how we're gonna move forward with it is starting like perhaps maybe monthly powwows with families, and the only goal there is for our parents to get together to address exactly what you said in regards to what support you need, and not just for families with children of special needs.
right.
It's a community.
Yeah, it's also like, we have a lot of single moms, we have a lot of young moms who don't know how to raise children because they're still raising themselves.
We have older moms who don't know.
And we have older moms who, don't know how to get it right. So we're gonna move forward with this, and we're gonna sit with the superintendent to really map it out and try to get this going by like January at the very latest February, but depending on how long it takes us to roll this out, we may do it twice a month. Because it is very much needed, we've always known that, and we want it to be led by parents, in addition with probably getting like a social worker or guidance counselor from a CBO to also sit in during those conversations to provide the support and probably the resources for families that are part of that conversation, and provide it.
Yeah, may I add a note to that? As a
Yeah.
parent, I, of 3 young adults now. At the middle school, for example, we used to have a psychologist that will pay $5,000 for her to come in and do a bunch of sessions with parents on simple things, meditation. You mentioned something, or someone mentioned the idea that sometimes you were always looking out for the kids, and who looks out after you, right, as a parent. And that idea of kind of centeredness, that you need to kind of look at yourself and see, what am I doing, what's working, what's not working, and how do we address those things to make me more effective, and then be able to be even more effective with my child. And those are some of the discussions that sometimes you come to a meeting and it's all about business. And we forget that we're humans and that we all have stories. And sometimes we need to share the stories, because my story might resonate with you or somebody else, or your story might resonate with me and go like, wow, I never thought of it that way. Or wow, she's going through the same stuff that I'm going through, and I never knew that. And so it's always, I think, these are like powerful conversations that if you have them in a safe place, you can open up and have all kinds of stuff.
And it's not gonna be our normal PD type
Right.
setup.
Right.
When you're coming and sitting down and being, are receiving
Lecture.
information.
Right.
No, this is gonna be like this type of setting where you're just sitting down and you're just having that conversation.
I
For
have
share.
I
know, I'm sorry,
I have a
I'm glad you're
daughter
here.
that was born with cleft lip and palate. So you see, we got different scenarios, different
Yeah.
situations. I did not know what was cleft lip palate. And when they grown, so
Yeah.
Someone give her
she was missing the side of her nose, the whole upper lip, and she only had one nostril. So her first surgery started at 3 months.